Yeah, these are good things for developers to remember when they're trying to do so many things at once. I mean, you must bump into people out there that are trying to do so many things. They're trying to innovate, build the developer experience, the user experience, trying to get traction, trying to get liquidity, trying to make sure they don't get hacked. And then you're trying to convince them, well, you also have to look at your risk metrics. I mean, it's a space that's going very, very fast.
I think bear markets and corrections are always very good for this type of stuff.
Okay.
I think the best products, if we think about the products that are the most copied smart contracts on Ethereum, Uniswap V2, and the Synthetics Minter contract. So the Synthetics Minter contract was the liquidity provider rewards contract, which you become a liquidity provider and then you stake it into this pool, and now you can earn rewards from the. Those are the two most copied things, and on every EVM chain, and they were both built at the bottom of the bear market. The Synthetics Minter contract came out like peak COVID, like March 2020, April 2020. And that was like very much bear market time for crypto. And so I think that tells you something about like a lot of the new products were kind of derivatives of the stuff built in the bear market. There are certainly some that are fully new, but I would say like the majority are more like derivative products right now. And I think a little bit of a correction, I'm not saying like we don't need to go through a full cycle again, but a little bit of a correction would go a long way to cutting the noise and like, getting people to like really kind of focus on building good products.
All right. And so when's that going to happen, and what does it look like in your opinion?
I walked into that one, didn't I?
I was going to ask you because you're one of the few people that frankly talks about this. And of course you started your company in a real bear market. So, but you do talk about this quite often. So, and it's a good thing to talk about. I like to see corrections in markets.
Yeah, I think like even historically in tech companies, if you look at a lot of the big tech companies, a lot of them were started during like recessionary downturn times.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of benefit talent-wise, sort of like competition-wise, noise-wise. Like there's, it's actually just easier to kind of like make a brand. Whereas, right now, if I'm XYZ Dex 599, like, I don't like, there's like so many random dexes at this point, and none of them seem to be very differentiated.
Right.
But I guess I kind of think, the U.S. law, the final form of it, certainly will probably affect people, mainly LPs, right? Like I think like LPs in these funds will like redeem and stuff like that if the tax laws are changed in a certain way that's not favorable to them. I think some regulatory things, but it's not very clear which ones will also be kind of in that boat.
Okay.
But I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be more nuanced than last time, where it was just like, oh, okay, like SEC is going after Telegram. I think it's going to be much more like a very nuanced type of enforcement that will maybe cause a correction. But the tax stuff seems more likely to be the first mover.
Okay. And does that also mean markets correct by 50, 60, 70% and that stays down for 6 months? I mean, is that what this looks like as well? Or
I hope it's a 6 month thing. Okay. But it really depends on interest rates. Like if the Fed just suddenly like does get out of the zero interest rate world, I mean, I don't think we know how to respond just like as a species collectively to that event after having just been, what's the phrase I want to use? Like a foie gras duck, like a force fed duck,
Right.
All of a sudden you're like let off the hook. I think that's kind of the chickens are going to be running headless, not knowing what to do when the interest rates go up.
Great, because we're not ready for hard times anymore because we haven't experienced them in a long time.
Yeah, exactly. And also like, I don't even think people also shifted all their products and like businesses away from assuming that would happen, right? Like those things take time to recalibrate.